So, tell me this. Y'all rejoicing. Y'all happy. Y'all out there partying. Y'all out there singing and dancing. For what? Y'all parading and y'all shouting and y'all rejoicing because what happened 4 years ago, 4 years before that, 4 years before that, all of these are the same exact cycles, the same exact things that are happening, right? And this one happened in a sense as to break a historical record of going out to vote, right? Y'all voted for this guy to come in office more than you've ever voted for even Obama, any president out there. He broke a record with the voting that you all did towards him to place him in office, right? So as if you're handing your power over to him. And it's confirmed. Yet again, you want a man to lead over you. And you're rejoicing at a man leading over you. In a sense, you proved that you want a man to the Father to lead over you and not the Father himself. That's what you voted for. You voted for a man to lead over you. That's what you voted for. And not the Father. And you made a record statement, an unprecedented statement, that you truly still, after all of this time, want a man to lead over you. And you voted for it. You wrote it down yourself. You made a record of it yourself. And so it's not just in spiritual history, because this is already happened in the spirit, but it's now in carnal manifestation as well. It's also manifested in your own world, the world you created. It's manifested that you truly want a man to lead over you. Yea, and then not to lead for permanent gain. No. Or spiritual gain, permanent and spiritual gain. But you voted for a man to lead over you for temporal and carnal gain. Because the temporal and carnal gain is veiled over, if you will, by using the name of God, or words that pertain to his wisdom and things for carnal wisdom. You see, there's a great terror that happens, people, to the one who uses spiritual things to solidify carnal matters. And all of you are out there steady doing that. Y'all did it with Trump, and I'm going to get on to that as well. But you're using the word of God to solidify your carnal lifestyle. And so Biden gets on the stage and uses Bible verses so that he can sound like, so that he can hold on to spiritual or to religious people, right? While in the same time being a carnal man and accepted by the carnal as well. You see, using spiritual things keeps you holding on those who pretend also to be spiritual. They can only hold on to the pretenders of spirituality, not to the true children of the true manifestation of spirituality in women, in men. They can't hurt. They can't hold on to you who truly do these things, but they can hold on to the religious ones who lip service, fake, and wishy-wash in keeping the word of God. They only can hold on to them by using spiritual things, because they use it at the same level that they are to get the ones who are at the same level they are. You see, only the liar who stands up and uses spiritual things can catch a liar also who stands up and does spiritual things and pretends to do spiritual things. Y'all two can hold on to each other, but you can't hold on to the one who truly does spiritual things. Right? So you who out there are truly living a spiritual life, none of this can hold on to you. You are so separate, if you will, or so out of the mindset of carnal things that you look at everything that you reject and you can't find a friend anywhere. One who walks and talks like you. One who lives and sings like you. One who aims for the Father like you. So you stand alone where you stand or where you are, because they're so spread out. It's almost like an elect few, right? Who concern themselves truly with spiritual things. The man who's a liar, who has a representation within his own household that proves he's not the one that we all need to be proclaiming. And that there is no man who's going to come proclaim. And see, the thing about it is this. If Christ, if you will, y'all talk about he's coming back. If he came back in the flesh, only through the flesh can he teach the same lesson. You understand what I'm saying? He can teach the same lesson coming back in flesh. That means that man is still needful of the same exact lesson. Christ will come in the flesh and go through the process and be crucified, right? That will be the exact same thing that will happen to him if he came back truly in the flesh. But it was said that the clouds are going to roll back, right? Clouds are representation of your thoughts, your ideas, your carnal and spiritual ideas, or all of these things that veil you. And cloud meaning these are the thoughts that veil you from the truth. All of these thoughts that keep y'all from accepting the truth for what it is are going to roll back. And when that ignorance, because that's what it is, darkness, because that's what it is, when that ignorance rolls back and you can see the sky for what it is, you will see Christ standing right there. And so when Christ comes back, he's not coming back in flesh like some of y'all want it to be the case, right? You want that flesh, that appearance, right? I guarantee you that Christ coming back will be him coming back within you. You understand what I'm saying? Manifesting within every single man. And the clouds rolling back, meaning that men could see the stars, if you will. Or the angels, if you will. And they understand wisdom. They understand truth. They understand all the powers and the attributes of the Most High. Only to come to the right conclusion of what they themselves have been. Every one of you all are going to come to the right conclusion of what you are and what you deserve. And you're going to believe it so much that you're going to want what you are and what you deserve for yourself, because you deserve it when you look at the Most High, his true beauty, which are the stars. When you look at Christ in all of the stars, you will know what you deserve. Or all the angels, if you will. You're going to know exactly what you deserve. All of the angels are going to begin radiating their essence in every single mind. Wisdom has the essence of wisdom that radiates in your mind. And that wisdom that radiates in your mind can only radiate pertaining to you, your understanding. And it will radiate according to that understanding while also radiating itself unto you. It will show you what you are against what it is, what it truly is itself. And you're going to know that what it is the Father, and that thing that is going to begin to condemn you. Every image, when you look at the Father, you look at all of his powers. And if all of his powers will be a thing that condemns you or carries you, helps you, lifts you up, gives you strength, right? Because you've earned some kind of merit in it. Merit of wisdom, merit of truth, merit of faith. You earned a measure within the power that radiates from the angel, right? Called by its name, its work. Because that's technically what our names will be. All of our names, we will all have a unique and different work for the same exact thing. Life, love. For the same exact thing, we will all have a unique work catered to specifically wired and configured to who we are, what we are meant to do. And by that doing, we will be called. That'll be our name. Abraham, father of faith, so on and so forth. These will be the unique names that we will be called, right? So, y'all don't want that uniqueness. Y'all don't want that heavenly work. Y'all don't want Christ to be the one standing. You don't want the clouds to be rolled back. You don't want to see exactly what things are so that you can know exactly what you are. You don't want that. So every one of y'all who are doing carnal things are fighting for the clouds not to roll back. Y'all don't want the clouds to roll back, so you fight for carnal life. Y'all work contrary to the life. So you want the clouds, the darkness. Y'all have come to love the ignorance. That's what it is. So y'all continue to vote so that in your carnal life you could have peace. Y'all don't want the carnal lives that y'all live, right? Y'all want there to be peace in it, right? While still in your spirits there is no peace. And you're okay with that. That's the thing. You're okay with that. Because if all of y'all believe the things that are out there that condemn y'all, if y'all finally believe these things and y'all finally go and fight for these things, right? Or not per se fight for them, but when y'all start to believe them and them pent up against you and show you who you are, y'all gonna hate yourselves, bro. Because everything that pertains to the Father, that pertains to you, is who you are and what you will believe about yourself. You see, everything about the Father becomes you when you learn who he is. That's the thing y'all need to understand. Everything about the Father that you believe about him also becomes you. You understand what I'm saying? And so if he's infinite, you have an infinite resources in that thought alone. Right? For he is your infinite supply for your soul, your spirit, your flesh even to grow. This is the nature of the Father. So, y'all want a carnal man to dominate over you, to rule, while y'all go home and sleep and slumber and not have to worry about giving it thought yourself. You understand? The rules that are made in government are not the people themselves thinking of those rules to make for themselves, right? This is a group of people that are watchful of the way the state of their nation, right? Making the thought that wait a second, this is good for the nation, right? You want people doing that for you and not you having to do it for your own self, because you yourself are your own nation. And so you don't look in your nation, you yourself, your house. If you don't look in your house in order to decide what's there and pick and choose what's good and what's bad, right? And do the good and not the bad, and make the laws within your own life so as to mirror, if you will, the image of the Father, to look exactly like him in the spirit workings. You understand what I'm saying? We're making our work look like the work that we see in him. And every man will see this work uniquely and be called by that unique sight. You understand what I'm saying? So I see y'all out there partying, y'all having fun. And this is on Biden's side of the equation. But the thing I want y'all to see also is on Trump's side of the equation. How carnal men have used spiritual things to promote false prophets, using their words to promote. Understand, a spiritual promotion is accompanied with a spiritual word. And so you don't just want to promote these politicians, these leaders, in a carnal way. You want to promote him spiritually too, right? And then his spiritual promotion is a lie, as well as his carnal promotion, right? They use the Trump is chosen, right? I believe Trump is here to do the will of God. I believe Trump is this. And these are the teachers that have been leading the religious people astray, right? Children astray. This is the exact thing that they use. They've prophesied. Even the Israelis over there. They've prophesied that Trump is the man that's meant to be on the office, right? By God. They use God. These are the words that they said. They use that title to sway men spiritually, right? Into a lie of looking at a carnal man. You see, in the spirit, where the spirit realm is, I promise you, anywhere that the Father dwells, there is no hierarchy in his presence. There is no one above the other in his presence. All men are like dust, and only as dust can they enter into his presence, right? Every man is level on the same playing field, and only a distinction alone is what appears to be separation or some type of hierarchy. So no carnal hierarchy, if you will, to make it even more clear. No carnal hierarchy will ever stand in the presence of the Most High. All things material are simply material in his presence. And so we all see the one, not many, leader. The one leader, the one king, the one ruler, the Most High. And he is the Most High, and in his presence everything else is less. So much so that they all are equally less than him, if you will. Yet equal to him. Now that's the thing that kills everybody. Your humility is a practice you must perfect in his presence. Yet your knowledge of who you are you must also have within you that you are an image of the Most High, not less, not more. Because all things that seemingly appear to be less in the carnal are in fact a part of the body of the Most High in spiritual. And so all things are at the level of Son of God. And the Son of God is no separate from the Father that he serves. And yet is humble always in his presence. So as to understand, I am your son after who you are, your will. I look to you and you look to none. There is only a one in spirit who looks to none because there is none. All else looks to the one who looks to none because there is none else in the spiritual realm. And so look at these false teachers here who step into your into your life, into your ears, right? Who speak these words to you, prophesying about a thing. Let's begin to weed out these false teachers, these false preachers, these false men. Let's begin to weed them out, family. And in all of our weeding them out, we find out that when you see a man prophesy and use the name of the Most High, and when you see it not come to pass, do not give him another chance. It's just that simple. Do not give him or her another chance. They've lied, prophesying in his name. Do not give them another chance to trust them ever again. And you will begin to weed out your false teachers, your false speakers, your false preachers, right? Who have prophesied a thing that has not come to pass. And that includes even me, if you consider something like that a stab in my back. I want it to be. If I be false, weed me out too. Put me on that list too. I'm glad. If you found something false in me, kick me out too, right? But beware. If your mind be not formed in the right state, what you may weed out as false today will turn out to be true tomorrow. And when that is proven to you, this is the only thing that gives you the right to give them another chance. And that's the thing, because we all don't know the perfection, right? Our consciousnesses are not at the level to truly, fully, and perfectly every single time weed out the right and the wrong. And so we go through our trial and our error, and every time we do that, we get stronger. You see, every man understanding his own consciousness and listening to his own consciousness only does the will of the Most High. And your consciousness also condemns you, right? And so Paul was talking about every man doing everything according to his consciousness, right? And now I'm getting ready to show y'all who the true king is, right? So we looked at Biden, we looked at Trump, right? And when you look at these and y'all finally realize that these carnal men are not your king, I'm about to show you who is your king, right? So I'm not just going to take it away from you and not give you something to follow. I will give it to you. You understand? And here's the thing that's going to trip you out. It's the fact that he's been there all along. In the fact that which you perceive of him is you yourself. Everything that belongs to the Father and that belongs to you, you are that thing that belongs to you. What does not belong to you, you are not. But what another is belongs to him, that which is his. that which he is. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you begin to respect people for being who they are, just for simply being what they are, for simply their mindset, their actions, their words, their deeds, whether they be right or whether they be wrong, when you begin to accept people for everything they say and do, this is going to be the nature of the coming of the kingdom of heaven. When every man will begin to respect, whether right or wrong, what men are and what they do. And so if they falsely prophesy, you will respect the fact that they are false prophet. You understand what I'm saying? And treat them according to that which a false prophet should be treated. Or consider them exactly according to that which a false prophet shall be considered. Because then when I say the word treat them, some of y'all got evil in your heart. You understand what I'm saying? I got to make sure that I clarify the things that I say. Some of y'all still got evil in your heart. And when you begin to treat a person according to that which you think is best to treat that person, right? Because your hand shall be the first to put them to death, is what it says, right? And so if you approach that law in carnal thinking, your hand shall be the one that puts him away to death, right? If you approach it that way, people, you will do the wrong thing. You will do the wrong thing. I promise you. You will do as it is written, as it appears to be so in the flesh. That's what you do. But then, when you think about what your spiritual hand is, truth. When you think about what your spiritual hand is, right? And you begin to be the first to put him away. The Spirit forms the word, if you will. And in the Spirit is the passion. In the word is the passion, right? That is sounded towards the false prophet, right? And in that sounding, that tune towards that false prophet, he is put away. And to put a thing in darkness away is to shine the light on it. Truth. And so when the light shines in the deep, everything that is chaotic, everything that is distorted, it becomes a form. It becomes a type. And even scientists and researchers are understanding that things, when you give it your attention, when you pay attention to it, right? That it takes up shape and form only because you pay attention to it. Only with the act of looking. And so the act of spiritual looking will in fact turn that discord of lying and darkness into the appearance of what it is. And by this, family, you'll be able to weed out all of your false leaders, right? Because through your tune and in your sound, you speak the tune, false prophet. You are a false prophet, calling it for what it is, what it does, calling it for its works, right? You false prophet. Everyone truly says to that man, if everyone right now truly spoke to the one who falsely prophesied, you have falsely prophesied. You've done a blasphemy, right? And so if every man in this sense put that prophet away, understand what that is in the spirit before you do so in the flesh, so that the flesh does in the spirit the right thing according to the Spirit. You understand what I'm saying? And so, what is a putting away of a man to death more than speaking the truth and unveiling that death or that lie, that blasphemy, that one for what it is. And turning away your truth, your understanding, away from that false prophet ever being able to hear the words that you have to say. Truly, I tell you this one thing: a spiritual putting to death of me is to die in my evil, and for the word of God never to come unto me ever again. These two things are the paramount, is that if these sources run out, I will die. Without the truth in the character of my Father, the Word of God, not to ever be shown to me, I would fail in my ignorance, and I will perish completely. I will die. Yep. But if they come unto me, if I know who my Father is, and I live in the light of truth, I will live forever. Because the love of the Father is life, and the lack of his love is death. I shall surely have to die and pass through the crucible. And be regenerated again. And if I be regenerated and fully cleansed, okay, I'm all right. But if I be regenerated and not fully cleansed, I shall live. And even though I live, I shall rise and be condemned. Yet again, because I'm not clean, even though I passed through the crucible and was regenerated. I'm not clean. Family, make yourselves right. Stop wishing these carnal men, these clouds, if you will, because that's what the clouds are, the carnal leaders, right? As long as these carnal leaders cloud your vision in your sight, you will not be able to see the king standing right there. And while the king is standing there, water is getting right in his presence. Fire is getting right in his presence. Earth, wind is getting right in his presence, right? And getting right means a cleansing. And so the fires burn to cleanse. The waters rage to cleanse. Flood to cleanse, if you will. The waters are flooding to cleanse. The fires are burning to cleanse. The earth is shaking to cleanse. And hey, the wind is roaring, raging, if you will, to cleanse. Because these are the things that cleanse the dirt off the dirt off the surface is cleansed through the wind. The dirt underneath the surface is cleansed through the waters. The dirt that's stuck is cleansed by the earth shaking, right? The dirt that stands, if you will, it's cleansed by the earth shaking and knocking it down. And the fire cleanse by burning everything so that the winds can blow it away, so that the rains can wash it away, and so that the earth can turn it over again. In this understanding, you find that none of the plagues that we have been sent are meant to kill and destroy. They are simply meant to cleanse. Because man within has not yet cleansed himself, so that he does not be left behind in the midst of this cleansing. Because he hasn't caused his fires to burn away the lies within him speaking against. He has not allowed his rebuke, if you will, to cleanse his inner self. He has not allowed for his changing of the waters, cleansing of his body, mind, flesh, purifying his soul. He hasn't allowed himself to be governed by these things. And so, if you be a property that needs to be burned in order to get cleansed away, you must be burned. And if you haven't burned the inner self, you will be burned in the outer self, because the inner self also burns the outer self. Or the working of the inner man also works the outer man into obedience, into discipline, into a right mind, in order to take on the image of God vested in him. People of God, children, every one of you, you are not meant to have a carnal leader over you. You were meant to hear the leader within you, the voice of your consciousness in the right state and frame of mind, dictating and listening to and causing you to be writing the image or the likeness of a life you are meant to live. You see, in the consciousness we write out our life, and we live the life we write out. We envision. Write the vision that he may make it plain, so that when he sees it, he may run. So, you all, in carnal desires, write out a carnal life for yourself. And believe in that carnal life so that it veils you from the spiritual understanding of the spiritual life. That keeps all things in harmony and peace and love and understanding, right? A lot of y'all say you believe in the Father, but you have not the program or the knowledge of him to even look to see that he's right there. And to know what he's like. A lot of y'all don't even have that written in yourself because you haven't sought him out, nor his kingdom. And then beyond that, he draws all things unto us, as it is written, so that we may learn more and more of him. For it is an infinite, eternal lesson. It's a school forever, for all of eternity. And he is a multiplicity of things, family. And he is meant to be the king of your mind, consciousness itself. That the mind being able to be guided and formed and fashioned and worked by you alone needs the right dictates in order to feed, if you will, a right mind, a right counsel in thee, in order to cause a right counsel in thee. And so some of y'all are listening to consciousness where there is no cause for right consciousness, right contemplation, sound thinking. There is no ground upon which to measure a thing right. And so your measurements of wisdom, your calculations of peace, your theories of the glories and honors and things of God, all of these theories are in a sense limited, faulty, wrong, and so because they are not him, they become something else. Your own self-ego, your own pride. And your pride stands as a cloud before you. Your lusts, all of them, your legions of sin within you, stands as a cloud over you, right? And because you hold on to them, these sins, you have not the strength to stand up and fight for them, for the right thing, for righteous things, right? Because you yourself are condemned. And that which you stand up for strong to fight for will also condemn you. And y'all don't want that. So you live your carnal life and you fight for temporal things. That in your fighting for these temporal things, you will not be condemned, right? If the president does the wrong thing, you're not at fault, right? But I'm here to tell you, you vicariously and 100% will render a reward or render a thing from all that your president does, your carnal leader does, because you yourself should be your leader. And when you do a thing, your whole body also renders the reward, reaps the reward for the leadership you do. And so, if you choose for another to lead, that same law must apply. You who lead yourself must reap the rewards of that which you do. And so, the one who you chooses to lead you, you choose to reap the rewards of your leader, whatever they may do. And which means y'all are not working out your own salvation. Y'all looking for somebody else to work it out for you. And when they work it out and what they do, whether it be in error, family. And now I'm gonna get to the another thing on the positive side. But you look for someone else to reap the reward for you, right? For you. To reap a reward for you because of their leadership. Now there's a good thing about that too. A good side to that too. Not to that exactly, but to that invertly. That if you no longer want a carnal man, which includes yourself, to lead you, you want the Father instead to lead you. And you reap the rewards of his leadership of you. Because we who lead ourselves this way. Because it's a free will choice to lead yourself the way he would lead you. It's your free will to choose to lead yourself that way. Just as it is to truly a reward for you to be led by someone else that way, their way. You understand? And so you lead yourself their way. And so, but in the Father, you lead yourself his way as well as the way you willingly would. Because the king, you're not led willingly. And that's the thing. You're not willingly led by another. You choose to let the other lead you, right? You choose to let the other lead you in whatever they do. Whatever it is they do. These things, whether it be good or whether it be bad, these are the things that govern you. These are the things that bind you and lead you. Their rules, their leadership, their things, right? These are the things that overwhelm you, family. And they rule you. When you let false prophets prophesy over you, what they prophesied, if you believe it, it rules you. But then when you're ruled by the things of the Most High, wisdom rules you, understanding rules you, truth rules you, knowledge rules you. Just good, simply the thing that is good rules you. And yea, it is a free willing, I offer myself unto this good rule before me, this good law before me. I offer myself to it through the motion of my members, right? By mimicking what I already see happening, or what the good that I've perceived and comprehend to be, my understanding. By mimicking my understanding, which is a higher image of that which I'm even carnally capable of doing, right? I understand the infinite measure of the Most High, right? The absolute measure of the Most High, the all-powerful, ultimate level of the Most High, right? In this thing I could never be, but I let it rule me. The highest wisdom I could never be, but I let wisdom rule me. And I step into its stream of radiance and light, so that I may take up some kind of a form the best I can, and that will be unique. And every man doing the best he can, she can. But y'all don't want that ruler. You don't want that king that causes you to live and be unique and fully manifested as a brand new thing every time, where no face looks alike, yet every face, yet every one is alike, if you will. Just as well as we all have 2 eyes, nose, mouth, 2 ears, taking up the same properties basically, yet having unique structures and forms and appearances. This is in fact my form, my face is the character, the personality of the matter that creates me, the basic structures that keep me, right? But then the basic structures are for all. We all ought to have right to the basics, right? In some cases we don't. But we all ought to have right to the basics of 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, ears, the air to breathe, the eye, the light to receive. You know? All of these things, family. The basic rights we all should have. We should all have the stream of that. And based off of those things, we should have the right. We have based off of those things, we have a unique form. And the right to that unique form, if you will. Following after the Father, doing the Father's will in a unique way, catered to us, not hindering the next man. And so all praises to the Most High for your house, your work, your understanding, that you've been able to muster and uncover and dig out the gunk in Him to understand more and more of who you are. Have not carnal leaders, and you can live in this spiritual life where you're always growing and taking to the form of the highest and highest understanding as you grow in the Father, and receiving all types of miraculous things round about you that manifest in miraculous ways, in surprising and awesome ways, so that this entire world becomes a magical appearance, yet not magical in its essence and in its work, but lawful. And so your false prophets, begin to weed out these false teachers. Once they lie about a prophecy, don't heed them no more. And in that is your hand being the first to put them away. Heed them not anymore, and you will have fulfilled the scripture. As it is written, your hand shall be the first to put him to death, meaning that his words are dead to you now. That's how you deal with false prophets, family. Your words are now dead to me because you lied about something you saw or you heard of the Father. You put his name on it and caused my understanding to believe that his name was on what you said. Like, on my Father. That's how you told it to me. On my Father. And now I find out you lied about that. Then I put the hearing of your words to death in me. And your hands in spirit was the first to cut him off, to put him away, to stone him to death. And every rebuke is a stone, because that's how you're going to have to put him away. Every stone represents a different rebuke of the sinful thing. Come on, we're going in spirit about how to deal with these things. Every stone is a spiritual rebuke. Word formed, rebuke, manifestation against and for the greater thing. Against the lesser and for the greater. A twofold rebuke. I do not accept you, though you may still manifest and enter into me, because it's not just the physical false prophets whose words you put to death, but the inward false prophets that are false prophesying to you about who the Father is, telling you about how weak you are, telling you about how less you are, telling you about how nothing you are. Rebuke them until they be dead. The more stones you throw at it, the sooner it will die. And so put that false prophet to death. If he's outspoken, put him to death, right? Because a false prophet only lives as he is heard. What causes a false prophet to live? Not the human being. He lives by a different manner. But what caused his working of false prophecy to live? In that he has ears to listen and believe, right? And stroke his ego, right? And so you put that to death. You put the false prophecy to death, the speaking of a false word to death, and you openly rebuke an open prophet, a false and open material prophet, carnal prophet. You openly put the false prophet away through rebuke, right? You throw a stone at it. To rebuke it, you would throw a stone at it, right? A stone of rebuke. And in this manner, the more he's hit and the harder he's hit, he dies and can falsely prophesy no more. And so I expect y'all to be putting away these false prophets, these false teachers out there. I expect y'all to be doing the work of the Most High, right? You ain't got the, I'm not talking about the physical death, none whatsoever. But his speaking, you got to put that to death. So he does not talk to you no more. Your false leaders, if they lead you in straight, I'm going to tell you like this. All that is manifest is good, is good, is good for study and evaluation and analyzing to prove what it is, right? Everything that's manifest is good for your analyzation, right? You can analyze it and prove it for what it is. You can ask, what is this thing before me? And when it proves to you in the right state of mind, granted your consciousness is wired right, because you yourself wire your consciousness with everything that you do and everything that you say and every inclination you make, everything you intend to do. You form the state of your consciousness. With every intent, you form the state of your consciousness. And so, a lot of y'all have intently formed your consciousness in so many different ways so that when it feeds to you, the impulse that it gets from this situation or that situation or this thing before me or that thing before me, every impulse you get will be either according to yourself or according to the Most High, according to your selfish ego or according to the Most High, or according to the evils group and company that you keep. You know, because not only are you condemning yourself or are you feeding off yourself, but you're feeding off of all that you surround yourself with. You understand what I'm saying? You feed off with your surroundings while your insides also form that which it wants to eat. An image, the image it wants to eat. And all of y'all make y'all lives after these images that you get, these false images that you desire to have in your life. And y'all eat these things by making them happen in your life. And so from that eating, if it be a dead thing, vain thing, you will become dead. You will become vain. You are the very things that you do. So as a man thinketh, so is he. So as a man does, so is he. So as a man speaks, so is he. This is becoming the spiritual kingdom. This is the highest, strict, in a sense, a stoic, militant nature of all things, right? When you 100% got to keep the truth and have no room, no ability to err. If in every error you will in order for truth to not lose itself, it must also reward according to error. And so the reward it renders to you according to error will be your own hell. Truth will render your reward to you. And this is the things that are happening, family. Y'all giving y'all life away to these carnal men because you want them to lead you. And who you want to lead you, you must reap the reward of that leader. Right? Because if that is the case, the congregation that follows the false prophet will not also be condemned. But according as it is written according to the scriptures, the false prophet is condemned as well as all those who follow him. So y'all reaped his reward of being condemned at the highest level by falsifying, being a false prophet in the presence of the Most High. You cannot choose a wrong leader and he lead wrongly and not reap the rewards as he has reaped them. You must reap according to all the works that they do, and you do. You must reap. Your work was to put that false prophet in office, right? Your work is to put this heir there. And so that heir, you will reap from all that heir reaps. Because if that heir reaps a thing and you get a discount of what it reaps, it's not the true thing. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the true thing at all. You, in order to reap truly, must also reap what he truly reaped. because he reaped the reward for doing this thing. You reap the reward for causing or having him, or allowing or being a part of, by giving him the power to do that very thing. You gave your power to him, of leadership to him. Your power of leadership you all give away. Leadership of yourselves you all give away. And so, if you give it away, you rightly must reap what you gave away. From what you gave away. This is the nature of all the things that are happening right now. Every single man is soon to reap their rewards, whether they be knowledgeable or ignorant of what they've done. They must reap from that which they know not that they've done, yet they've done it. Yep. Y'all think y'all have y'all sins tallied up? I promise you, you don't. You think you got them written down so you know exactly what they are? I promise you're missing a few. I promise you that. Call me a false prophet all you want. You missing some, just like I'm missing some. And so, forgive me, Father, for that which I know and that which I know not. The sins I'm aware of and the sins I'm ignorant of, Father. Forgive me for these things. Let me lead my own life, Father, because I know truly I will be led of thee. Because my heart and my desire is to be led of thee. Therefore, I will dictate my understanding, myself, my ways, my life, Father, to do your very will. And this is the only one I've lived this life, and it's been proven to me perfectly that I can dictate with all absoluteness. I cannot dictate another, for I can only dictate and control and move myself. I can't move another. I can speak to another. I can try to share with another. But what I share is only my own dictates and movements. That's the only thing I have the power to share. And so, Father, I give my all to you, right? And when I wake up in the morning to brush my teeth, that I give to thee. When I wake up in the morning to wash my hair, Father, that I give to thee. When I write down all my thoughts, Father, these are the thoughts I give to thee. I give to thee by making manifest of it. And so all my good deeds, Father, when I make manifest of them, these I give to thee. And all the love that I have in my heart, Father, when I make manifest of it, this I give to thee. And Father, whoever is there, may they receive, for this I give to thee. With no measure pressed down, Father, shaken together and running over, Father, this I give to thee. All that is in me, all that is about me, every thought I make, everything I think, every breath I breathe, Father, this I give to thee. I give you my all. My every word, my every thought, my every sight, my every smell, my every hearing. This, Father, I prepare aright and give to thee the way I have received, your wisdom, your truth, your understanding, that which is my measure of it, I give to thee. Simply by creating it and manifesting it in my life according to that which I have the power over all that is under my stewardship. Father, this, even this, for all of eternity, I give to thee. Peace and blessings.